Welcome to another bonus episode. On the last episode, I talked about HVAC, and at the end I briefly mentioned auxiliaries and what you can do to kind of reset the HVAC. Well, let's go into a little more detail on what auxiliaries are. So, generally, it's everything that is not propelling the train forward. So your lights, HVAC, radios, announcement panel, all that stuff is connected to your auxiliaries. And so if you turn the auxiliaries off, it shuts all that down. And then you can turn it back on again, and they all reboot. And so everything starts back up, and it's kind of a resetting feature. So I showed this at the end of the main episode, but this is a switchboard here, and you'll notice there's a switch labeled as auxiliaries on and off. So this is what you will use. As soon as you turn your auxiliaries off, it'll turn off all the lights, it'll reset everything that is not your train motors or any of that kind of stuff. That's a separate system. But when you turn your auxiliaries back on, then your lights will kick back on, your radio, and all that will work. So I mentioned it again at the HVAC episode, but you notice that the switch doesn't even have an on position. So you can turn it off with that switch, but you can't turn it back on. So the way you turn it back on is by turning it to the position to where it would be on, turn your auxiliaries off, and then back on, and it will reset it, and it should power back on. Now, if you're a driver, before you just start going around and messing with all your switches, you need to call into control first for permission to aux off and back on. It's known as auxing off or back on, because saying turning my auxiliaries off and back on again is a lot of effort, so you just say I want to aux off and back on my train. And you have to give them permission to do that first, because it resets your radios and shuts them down for a while. So if they have something that they need to contact you with, then they won't know that you've turned them off or back on unless you do that. So you have to ask for permission to do it first, and you tell them what's going on. Oh, the HVAC in the middle of my train is not working. And so they say, okay, you have permission to do that. You turn the auxiliaries off and back on, and then you report back to them saying it fixed it or it didn't fix it. If it didn't fix the problem that came up, they'll make a report of it right on the spot. I've actually recorded this twice of the auxiliaries turning off and back on. If you're ever just sitting somewhere, sitting at a station somewhere for a few seconds, and then all the lights go out for 10, 15, 20 seconds and then come back on, then that's why. The first example that I'm going to show you, I wasn't recording at the beginning. Whoops. Well, the second one I was recording the whole time. And so here are those clips, and because you're not going to see me again until the next video, then I will conclude the video by showing you these two clips, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
This just happened. Did we just lose power? I totally just got that on video. That's okay, that's weird. The AC is on. Man, I bring my camera out and the weird things start happening.